Yes, it's John G. Sutton. Tales from the jails. I want to talk today about something seriously going wrong in the Scottish prison system. They're planning now to transfer a specific male inmate into a female prison because he's decided that he's going to be called Tiffany. I'll show you the image of this guy. You can see, let's see if I can get it. Yeah. Oh, there you can see, yeah? Can you see that? You can tell that he looks more female than male by the moustache and the big tits, can't you? Yeah, that man is calling himself Tiffany Scott. Now, he was held in a prison in Scotland, and believe it or not, the wing managers or the governor or whoever it was instructed staff to call him Mighty Almighty. That was to be his name. Not Scruffy Little Shithouse, which is what I would have called him. Come here, you scruffy little shithouse. Yeah, apparently they can't do that anymore. Which, to me, seems that the world's gone quite crazy. I mean, alright, we don't want to abuse kicking inmates around the landings and stuff like that. It isn't acceptable. It never was acceptable. But occasionally, you've got to deal with it. And when you've got to deal with it, you do it properly. I.e., don't piss around. You know, if they need to be knuckled, then knuckle the bastards. But not these days. So Tiffany Scott, as he now wants to call himself, has decided that he's going to transition and be a woman, and has made an application to be transferred to a female prison. And as hard, as difficult as it may seem, despite the fact, that his wedding tattoo is still fully dangling down and present, he, according to the Scottish Prison Service, is going to be transferred to a female prison. It should be quite amusing when it comes to shower time. It gives a whole new meaning to Don't Drop the Soap. Whoa, madam! What's that you've got dangling there, eh? Soap on a rope. This system's gone mad. Come on. I mean, what is it with this world? Yeah? I mean, when I started, it was quite obvious. I mean, if you've got the equipment, that's what you are. You can't just say, I want to be a female. If you're biologically equipped to be a man, then you either remove the difference and proceed from there, or you make the best of what you've got. But apparently, somebody in authority has decided that this is going to happen. Now, if they're in authority, I suggest that they need psychiatric treatment. They need to be psychologically examined because there's something wrong with the way that they're thinking. Are you with me? So, Nicola Stungan, I always thought she was a bit strange anyway, because all she rattles on about is Scottish independence, which they may very well be entitled to if it wasn't for James VI of Scotland, who transitioned not into a woman, but into James I of Great Britain. So James VI of Scotland was the King of Scotland and became James I of what then became the United Kingdom. So that's how we came to be what we are today, the United Kingdom. Before that it was England and all the rest of it. But Scotland was an independent country. So the Scottish started this, and now they think they can put it back. Well, whether they will or not, I don't know. I mean, if I was Scottish, I certainly wouldn't want to remove myself from the caring hands of the government that are actually providing me with a keep, because the money is not travelling from Scotland to England, it's going the other way. And Scotland's current prosperity is based upon the oil fields, which are out in the sea. And within 20 years, that oil won't be worthless, but it will not be $100 a barrel, will it? Which is round about what it is at the moment. It'll be down to $10 a barrel because we won't be using fossil fuel to drive cars or central heating units or anything like that. So that's my little rant about Scottish independence. But I would say that, I absolutely do love Scotland. I go many times. I like round Fort William and go up there by Ben Nevis and all that. It's really nice, really picturesque round there. And the Hebrides. I've been round there, stayed there a few times, yeah. Sailing down Loch Ness. It's massive great water, you know. Massive. Anyway, let me tell you this. The Scottish system seems to have gone mad. They don't know what they're doing. They can't put... this man is listed as being a very dangerous prisoner, Tiffany Scott, and he's been assaulting staff. He's been convicted of stalking a 13-year-old girl. What kind of a transition does he want to make so that he can get his hands on more women? It beggars belief, doesn't it? But there we are. Have a look it up. Don't take my word for it. Go into the BBC site and look at the write-up for Tiffany Scott. He's 100% a dangerous bastard who is going to be transferred into a female prison, and that's going to cause... apparently, when he's demanded this, the female prison staff have refused to search him because obviously he's anatomically not a female. He's a biological bloke with a moustache, and as you've seen from that picture, he doesn't look anything like a Tiffany, does he? Looks more like a Fred. Strange world, don't you think? Yeah. Anyway, thanks very much for watching my rants for today, but that's it. That's it, you see. What we've got is a world gone mad. I do believe that somebody has to tell them, wake up, and let's get some psychiatrists in and have a look at the people who are making these decisions because they're mental. And if I was a prison officer having to deal with that, I would just say, on your bike, you're no chance. And not only that, I'd say, I tell you what, let's see what the Telegraph has got to say about this, or the Guardian, and put it in all the papers. But here we are, it's in all the papers, and still nobody's doing anything about it. The world's gone absolutely upside down. Tuesday, 31st of January, here, we're going to have a Q&A at 7 p.m. I hope you'll all join me then. In the meantime, there's a link below to my book, and it's that time of day when I'm going to read you a poem. It's not singing. Oh God. Don't they know when I'm telling them to piss off? Anyway, this is a poem I'm going to read you today. It's by William Shakespeare. I'm a great fan of Shakespeare, actually. I'm going to see Julius Caesar at the Royal Shakespeare Company in March. Take my grandson. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come not to praise Caesar, but to bury him. Yeah. That's Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. This is Shakespeare's Sonnet 18. Are you sitting comfortably, Larry? You got your wellies on? Ready for a run on the moors? Paula, are you there? Nice cup of tea and a biscuit. Bob. You alright? Yeah, Dave too, yeah. Lots of people here who are my regular viewers. Nice to see you. Please do leave comments, a couple of insults. Larry's good at that, aren't you? Yeah. Accuses me of joining the Yorkshire Goat Fanciers Society, but I can't do it. For a start off, I don't live in Yorkshire, although my ancestors come from Yorkshire. If you're anywhere near Dent, D-E-N-T, Dent, the town of Dent, go to the churchyard there, you'll see the tomb of my famous ancestor Richard Sutton. It says on the tomb, it's a tomb, not a grave, it's a bloody tomb, and it says on the grave, Richard Sutton of West House. West House was a big mansion house just outside the town centre. Been to the house. I've been round the house. It was used by Salman Rushdie. Anybody who know Salman Rushdie, the famous author? Yeah, when there was a fatwa on him, when it was put out because he wrote the book, The Satanic Verses. Yeah, he stayed at West House because he was in hiding from the whoever decided that they were going to kill him, but they didn't anyway. So he used West House as a safe place of residence because it's in the middle of bloody nowhere, isn't it? Yeah, Dent in Yorkshire. The Bronte sisters knew my ancestor Richard Sutton and used his life story as the basis for the character Heathcliff, which is not a fiction of mine, by the way. It's researched by a professor of literature who wrote a book on the source material for the Brontes and came up with Richard Sutton was used as the base for Heathcliff because he was he was in love with the mistress of West House, and that's how he got all his money, I believe. He owned a load of farms. He owned Rig End Farm. If you know Dent at all, have a look round there. He owned about 3 or 4 big farms. Anyway, he had that many children that none came down to me, folks. One of his sons, William Sutton, was a big noise in Canada, in Vancouver. There are streets named after him. Williamsburg or something, because it's William Sutton, you see. Anyway, I'm going to read you Sonnet 18 now. So here we go. I'll have to hold the book a little bit so I can actually see it, you see. I don't have very good eyesight, as you've probably gathered by now. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Thank you very much. I hope to see you on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Until then, well, I'll be here tomorrow, won't I, folks? And do like, subscribe, all the rest of it. Leave me some comments. Bye now.